She won't step foot in her father's house, won't return his calls, won't let him meet his grandchildren. But when Diana, dead for 30 years, needed a memorial visit, suddenly she had photographers ready. And William just revealed what this really was. And it's worse than anyone expected.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sharing a private picture of their so-called private children, Archie and Lily, on their so-called private vigil to lay flowers at Princess Diana's grave for the first time.
Harry will lobby the Home Secretary for security, with sources saying he's looking to arrange further meetings with the King to allow him to spend more time with his grandchildren.
This really tells 1,000 words, doesn't it? This is, of course, a picture of Princess Lilibet. That is, of course, Harry's daughter. And very nicely, all thanks to his wife, who has a terrible aversion to the world of social media.
The other thing about the Althorp's visit, Dan, is that they're not particularly close with Diana's brother. He did get married in the States, and they were not there.
Let's start with something that's bothered people for years. Something that reveals everything you need to know. Meghan has a father. His name is Thomas Markle. He's still alive. He's still calling her, still hoping for contact, still wanting to know his grandchildren. And she ignores him completely, won't visit him, won't bring the kids to meet him, acts like he's an embarrassment she needs to hide from the world.
Meghan Markle takes what should be a solemn and private family moment and exploits it for clicks and money. It's so incredibly disgusting, and I can't help but imagine Prince William would be incensed. There's nothing wrong with them visiting Diana's grave, but why did she have to disrespect Harry and her children by posting about it?
The man wants basic family connection, and she's made it crystal clear he's not important enough, not rich enough, not famous enough, and doesn't fit the narrative she's trying to build. But Diana's been dead for 30 years, been in the ground at Althorp for 3 decades, and her body rested in that cemetery for 3 entire decades before suddenly, Meghan couldn't get to that grave fast enough. With professional photographers hired, timing coordinated perfectly. Every single moment staged with precision. Multiple takes, perfect poses, and designer clothing while everything was controlled.
What about Thomas Markle? Does he not get a look in? If she's so keen, Harry, with his father recovering from cancer and still having treatment, the other side, repair the family connections, however hard it might be. And the Markle family is as dysfunctional at times, maybe even more so.
Charles Spencer, Diana's own brother, didn't hold back because he looked at what happened and said it directly that this was purely for publicity. That's not an assumption or speculation, but Diana's blood brother looking at the grave photos and calling it what it is: a publicity stunt, a photo opportunity, and a production using his sister's final resting place.
Reports one image shows Harry, Archie, and Lily from behind as they walk down a grassy path lined with trees and hedges. The photo is believed to have been taken at Althorp, the Spencer family's ancestral estate where Diana grew up. Harry and Archie are both seen carrying large bouquets, prompting speculation that the family may have visited Diana's burial site, which is located on an island in the middle of the estate's oval lake.
Harry and Archie carrying flowers, calling it private, disgusting, and with no shame, leading the Mail to report that they did believe this to be Althorp, with their diary editor Richard Eden writing that it is understood to have been taken as they made their way to lay flowers at the grave of Princess Diana. For years, literal years, there's been this carefully constructed narrative of wanting privacy for their children, protecting them from the media, claiming media is dangerous, and swearing they would never exploit kids for attention, while insisting Diana's memory is sacred to them and her rest should be protected forever, year after year, with privacy this, protection that, and sacred everything filling interviews about the struggle of public life, statements about respecting boundaries, documentaries about why they had to step back and protect their family, books about the invasion, and podcasts about media trauma centered entirely on the message that they value privacy above all else, which makes it sickening that they would now use Charles Spencer's words directly to describe the acts of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle as insane and ghoulish, showing no respect for Princess Diana's resting place while constantly briefing us about privacy before posting the most intimate photos that we have never seen of members of the royal family unless they've been taken by paparazzi, making everyone say no. We don't want to see Meghan's ass cheeks while she's watching her children in the water, please, and then she posts photos from Diana's grave. Think about that for a second, because you can't spend 5 years telling the entire world that privacy is your top top priority, and then post photographs from a private cemetery where a family member is buried. Just as you can't claim repeatedly that you would never exploit your children and then use your family for attention, or say Diana's memory is sacred and then commercialize a visit to her resting place for profit, which isn't mere inconsistency but deliberate contradiction, knowing exactly what you're doing and doing it anyway, because the privacy claims were never actually about protecting anything, but about control, managing the narrative, and controlling who saw what and when, because this is Althorp, confirming that they were in the UK for the naysayers out there, double-checking that it is definitely within the garden and the estate, confirming that the kids and Harry and everybody were indeed in the UK. When it suited her, when attention was available, when a Netflix deal was on the table, and when significant profit was possible, the privacy suddenly stopped mattering, which is what people can't get past. Not just the hypocrisy itself, though that's infuriating now, I don't know about you. It seems a bit odd, in my opinion, that you would want to post a picture like that of a little girl. Though, of course, what you have to remember is that this is the difference between these two, seemingly time and time again, wanting to make sure to the rest of the world that they're not forgetting Harry's mother. And do not forget also that Harry famously said he got upset when people could not see the similarities between Diana, the Princess of Wales, and of course the cable TV actress Meghan Markle, because there's a reason every single photo was usable, why the quality was broadcast ready, and why the entire set of images looked so polished and professional, since it wasn't candid family photography but coordinated production requiring security at Althorp to approve access, clearance arranged in advance, timing schedule, and serious planning, coordination, money, resources, and preparation, which people miss when they hear that she visited the grave, because that's not what actually happened, since she arranged a professional photo shoot at a private cemetery, got security clearance from the estate, brought trained photographers with equipment, and documented every moment for commercial use, which isn't visiting at all, but production and media manufacturing, making the shot of Althorp make your stomach turn a little bit. Because while people might visit the graves of family members who are no longer with us and maybe take a photo of the gravestone, you don't do a family outing to go see the grave on private property. Not to mention how interesting the sophistication of this matters, because she didn't just show up with her family, she managed perception with professional precision, understood media narrative completely, and controlled the story with calculated precision so the photos look spontaneous, because she's skilled at making production feel real as a craft she knows how to do. Proving this wasn't accidental, a mistake, or something that just happened, but calculated from the very beginning, with every detail controlled, every angle chosen specifically, and every timing deliberate and strategic. Even if Diana's brother, the Earl, had said no cameras, by which he meant no camera crews, though he clearly didn't mean a camera phone, which means when they went over to the island, there was obviously a camera phone with them, raising questions about whether there are photos or videos and talk of the Diana documentary, which is what makes people angry beyond just the basic violation, not that it happened, but that she knew exactly what she was doing, understood the violation completely, understood the hypocrisy, understood that Diana's family would see this, understood that William would see this, understood that people would recognize the contradiction with everything she'd said about privacy, and did it anyway, knowingly, willingly, and deliberately, asking why hire photographers, why stage everything perfectly, and why coordinate directly with Netflix, because there's significant money in it, real money, and substantial profit, since Netflix has a 30th anniversary Diana documentary project in active development, needing footage, images, original content, and cinematic quality that viewers will watch, alongside whatever Harry is thinking of doing next year for the 30th anniversary of her death, which is also incredibly ghoulish. And we also know that the Netflix Harry and Meghan doc had a bunch of their home videos, meaning phone videos, on them, so this would likely be appearing there, because Meghan has access to Diana's resting place, family connection, and historical legitimacy, giving her something Netflix desperately needs in the form of $7 million in documentary revenue, which is not pocket money but significant income worth hiring professional photographers, arranging security clearance, and coordinating everything down to the minute, driving people insane because she gets paid for this directly. Not just theoretical documentary revenue, but production fees, participation payments, and direct monetary compensation for being part of the commercial project, meaning the pictures that they need to secure for the documentary next year do not actually have to be filmed by a camera crew, because one of the main reasons why Netflix was so happy with the Harry and Meghan documentary, which remember was a hit, and the only show that has been a hit as part of their Netflix package, was because Harry and Meghan had to, and it was for the big paycheck, not $100 million, but still a very big paycheck, guaranteed that they were going to open up their personal photo album, leading us to see a lot as a result, like the videos on the Freedom Flight and even on the night of the engagement included in the documentary, meaning she's not using Diana's grave for attention. She's literally being paid to use Diana's grave, monetizing a cemetery visit and profiting from her dead mother-in-law's grave, which changes everything about the situation, since this isn't honoring Diana, but profit that everyone understands because the numbers are too specific, the money trail too clear, and the financial incentives too obvious. With Netflix knowing exactly what they were doing, knowing these photos were coming, coordinating timing between them, planning production together, not discovering footage, but ordering it as a commercial arrangement where Meghan provided grave photos for Netflix revenue and Netflix provided payment for commercializing Diana's death, with both sides understanding the arrangement completely and benefiting financially, turning the grave into content, Diana into product, her memory into asset, and letting profit win over respect, money win over family, and attention win over decency as the fundamental transaction that happened. Which is interesting because remember a while back, Prince Harry basically said he had no plans to put together a documentary about his late mother for next year, which would have been the terribly sad 30th anniversary. And though I cannot believe it because it sounds odd, in many respects, of course, it has to be 30 years since that's where the time goes, making me often think about people like Diana and think about the things that they've missed, not just Diana, but everybody, the things that we've gone through, and the inventions, because when experts looked at this situation, nobody disagreed about what actually happened, and Charles Spencer, Diana's brother, was direct and clear that this was purely for publicity and disrespectful to her memory, with no equivocation or wondering, because he knew immediately since he knows his sister, while body language experts broke down the photographs in detail to show every single pose was calculated, not one spontaneous moment captured, every angle chosen deliberately, every gesture considered in what obsessive preparation and production looks like, and protocol experts confirmed this violates centuries of royal tradition, since royal cemeteries are sacred spaces, not photo locations or content sites, making this literally unprecedented because no one in royal family history had ever done this before or used a family grave as a photo shoot location, leading to my contention that all of these photos and videos for the documentary will have been taken personally by Harry and Meghan, which they believe gives them some type of out in terms of not really commercializing the visit because these were their own personal memories they just decided to share.